man, is it just me or is there something kind of fishy about this boat, man? Couldn't resist. And this little fish friend is a mighty totem. I used to whip it out at the old sex drug cult Cleo when I'd play beer pong. I'm not going to call it Beirut, that's offensive. And it's not technically ping pong. I don't even know what the name is for it, but you know, the cups and the boop. Now, I had an unorthodox style. So, like that. Now, okay, I wasn't going to be my old man like that and play basketball, even though I'd probably be good at it. No. Backwards. That's how I like to roll. And I was pretty good, depending on if I was drunk enough. You know, what's the profit of man? Because if you're good at it, then you just get bad at living because you keep playing on that table. Fucking till your skin and bones, you know. But I whipped a fish out if I was behind, if I was losing, and it became this kind of symbol because I'd usually turn the tides. And I don't know if it was a mind game, but then it became this sort of weird fucking symbol because they eat a Jesus fish, and then it was like also like a middle finger to the frets, the other frets somehow. You know, St. Anthony's Hall always became my fucking sort of. It's funny, you know, because I did a tiny bit of research before I started to do these rambles, because, again, I'm just fucking riffing, except for, you know, Kubayashi shit around me. But, you know, I like to be semi-well-informed before I start fucking talking shit, you know. It's like, you talk the best shit when it's, you know the texture of the manure. So, St. Anthony is a famous, you know, story, the miracle of the fish. So St. Anthony of Padua was going to different heretical towns that have turned their back on the church, and again, fuck the church, but you know, it's a parable. People have turned their back onto the truth, onto God, or whatever, who fucking live in the fucking misery in the fucking river of sin, you know. So St. Anthony goes, and everybody's just silent. Like, they don't even say fuck you, they're just like, silence, pure silence. No one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear what he has to say. He's saying a good fucking yarn, too, is the thing. So St. Anthony keeps going, and he goes, and he gets to this fucking river, and he's still fucking. And then, apparently, you know, all the fish, thousands and thousands of fish, you know, our Lord, he's close to an infinity sign, you know. But isn't that just two snakes eating their own tail? Oh, whoa! Yeah, and so then when the fish are paying attention, so all the people come out, and they're like, oh my god. First, they just want to see, oh my god, look at these fish, this is cool. But then they start to, like, listen, and they're like, actually, this guy's fucking telling some truth. You know, it's a good parable. I don't know. Lots of funny stuff happened, like, earlier. Now, keep in mind the parlance and the colloquialism. So, I spilt my tea on Trinity. About Trinity, the tea I spilled on. That was my diploma that I'd ripped up a couple days ago. It was in shatters, and it just so happened, you know. Gotta laugh at this stuff, you know. When it's this chilling, you need a good funny poem. Hollowed halls and ivory towers. Epilogue. The bone machine. Look at this photograph. No. We're not going there. Hell no. And yeah, this bookmark is a piece of an eyeglass frame. It wasn't from one I found. I just found this on the street. Zion. No. Yes, it was Zion Street. Somewhere near Zion Street, actually. I was on my way to Trinity to talk shit. Not yesterday. This was a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I took a picture of his pair of fucking glasses that were on a fucking grave. Right near the graves where the hall fucking people broke those gravestones and patsied up everybody else. And it was just like I was there to talk about them Patsy and Pedro for Chris Kenny. I was just like, you know, you gotta see what's in front of you sometimes. See, I'm using on this book. Wait, am I even on the right part? It's the funny thing. Oh, here we go. This place has been cursed from the jump. He told anyone who'd listen. Indians lived here long ago. They had a drug cult, smoked tawachi, which is Jimson weed, gave themselves hallucinations, deluded themselves they were visiting other realities. Why, come to think of it, not unlike the hippie freaks of our present day. Their graveyards were sacred portals of access to the spirit world, not to be misused, and Gordita Beach is built right on top of one. From watching Saturday night horror movies, Doc understood that building on top of an Indian graveyard was the worst kind of bad karma, though developers, being of evil character, didn't care where they built as long as the lots were level and easy to get to. It wouldn't have surprised Doc at all to learn that Mickey Wolfman had committed this desecration himself more than once, calling down curse upon curse on his already miserable soul. They were hard to see and hard to catch hold of, these Indian spirits, who plodded along in pursuit, maybe only wanting to apologize, and they flew like the wind and waited their moment. I wish I could say that I planned this whole time that I was going to read that part, and then this, and no, that's just it. I think I stole this from Real Art Ways, and I just, again, I put them in symbolically because, yeah, it's a tale as old as time, the myth. The white man taming the wilderness, killing the savage in eternal struggle, when ultimately the whole time this was the savage. And not to say that when the savage pushed these people who were in tune, that they didn't get poisoned in their ear too, and do some fucked up shit. It's a human condition, if you... So it's the Cinestudio, which is really one of the only redeeming things on Trinity Canon. I'm being silly, but Cinestudio is one of the greatest things. That's the only thing that means that, it would be sad to see that campus get torn asunder, but really, for what it's done, for what it's built on, maybe it should. So I saw the black and white version of Parasite, which is beautiful and, very, very meta, because it wasn't black and white. Yeah, we see it vividly as if it is. Like, that's how we're tuned to see, pure survival. Our eye doesn't really see what our eye sees. If we perceive what even our eye saw on a basic level, it would be horrifying, and blood vessels, we have to simplify. Survival, Shit. Some organisms get by just fucking literally black, white, light, dark, We've complicated the palette in our mind's eye, obviously, but it's a lot simpler than we think. But, yeah, I digress. Objects to me always were mystical and magical. They always had a lot of importance. They always spoke to me, shouted to me. More so than people. Sometimes people don't. They say a lot, but it's a lot of fucking... it's a lot of bullshit, as we're establishing. But objects sometimes, I don't know. Meaningless ones. My last cigarette that I had. Over 2 years now, my last cigarette butt right in there. I keep it. Memento Mori. Remember that piano? That's the abandoned piano I found in the parking lot behind Stop and Shop in East Hartford, where, kind of near where the old Showcase Theater used to be, where I first really, one of the places I really got into cinema and the cinematic, and escapism. That piano's there and it still works. It's gone now. They took it away. Like, all the things that I love, like the lobster, but, dry bones in the wind, But yeah, this is this little rock. Friend Elijah, does print versions of album covers, and he was like, "Hey, anyone wants to recommend an album cover? I'll do it. You can see it, and if you want to, I can make you the print. If you can pay me for it." So I was like, "Yeah, Court of the Crimson King, man." He was like, "Oh yeah, man," and like I saw it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" So I paid him for that. That's not what I talk about, but when he left it outside my house, he put this little rock there, this little stone, piece of gravel you can find anywhere. And he put that there to cover it, and I immediately made sure to put it away. And I made a joke where I was like, "Hey man, when you fucking really make it, then I'll be like, oh, this would be worth a lot." But like, here's the real thing: this brother didn't need to make nothing. He was it. He did it. He did it. That's beautiful. That's art. Everything is art when you pay attention, man. Most of the shit that people think is of importance is meaningless. This is fucking carnage. This is chaos. This is filth. Spit on its grave. I just hold it in mind as the ultimate memento mori, you know. The ultimate bone chill. This barely looks like it's used, right? I bought this. I paid for this. Baby shoes for sale, never worn. My friend Miles died, remember I mentioned it. And when we needed to make him a makeshift grave, this was what we used to write. Let her rip. I mean, this is so old, I don't think it's going to be contaminated, but I'm still going to hold it at the edge. This is the oldest the oldest heroin spoon I could find in this house. It's very old. Probably goes back to like their OG use in the 90s. So specked with black. The hall is especially fucked up. And the Chris Kenny story is especially fucked up. But the thing was, and someone once mentioned this to me when I was going on about it, they were like, well, I mean, it happens. These injustices happen. And I'm like, that shouldn't be a reason to like get less angry. That should be a reason for everyone to be unified in their indignation. But we just really just can't. We don't. Do we not want to see it? I mean, they did a good job, I guess, but not really, though, when you fucking trust me. I did the groundwork. It's a bunch of fools. A bunch of goons. A bunch of goombas. Dweebs. Sorry, I want to try to be nice, and I'm being nice. And that being nice is what got me one of my favorite things. Probably the one thing I have that actually is worth a lot. But to me, it's priceless. And I don't wear ties that often, so it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to take this off. This is... I might not be able to see it that well. But this was, Al Gore's. And I don't mean like, oh, this has got the memorial Al Gore type pen on. Al Gore wore this type pen. You know, he wore many, but during the 8 years, and this would be tradition, both he and Bill Clinton, they had tie pins, and at the end of the presidency, they gave them out to staff, like White House staff, people that they knew on like a personal level, you know, as mementos, and many other mementos too, but these were like preem. Bill Clinton one, Al Gore one, once in a lifetime for a small crew of people. And I happened to, when I worked at Bears, back when things were kind of cool, there was a manager there, a great dude. Scott. Fucking Scott, man. That's like, even when I was doing the, hey man, you should not have boat. That's like fucking what Scott was when I met him. I mean, he definitely just, he took it easier on himself. But we're closing one night, and keep in mind, you know, we're closing one night. And someone just fucking, the dishwasher ran off, a junkie, ran off early. And I stuck around. All I did was, I was like, oh, Scott was like freaking out. I was like, no, Scott, don't worry. I'm a workhorse. I have to pick up after people. So, no, Scott, I got it. Don't worry, brother. Nah, it's fine. You do your work, you close. And I busted my ass, and I closed it probably earlier than he would have been normally if the guy stayed. And Scott was just, I think he just wanted to get home, and probably, you know, just unwind. He was real happy, man. So the next day, he comes over, man. And this is the dude who gave me that fucking sweet Levi jacket, and he comes around, and he probably wouldn't even want me to tell this story, but I got it because it's beautiful. He gives me this because he was a chef. He was a chef in the White House. He used to be he was in the military. He was a real good dude, and he was a real good chef. I met him. He was kind of loosey goosey. Trust me, I knew how to handle the fry better than this dude. I don't know what happened, but he was a good chef. He worked in the White House. I'm not fucking bullshitting you. You saw this. He worked in the White House. And he got this. Priceless. Once in a lifetime thing. And just because I did something nice and kind, it was not selfish. After really a lifetime of really being selfish, he gave this to me. And I have it. And I have this too. And this. And really, you know, all this rest of this shit can just get burned in the fire, but I have the truth. I see you. I see things. I saw them. No bones about it.